Hey guys, we're back again, and this time we have not one, not two, but three guests. We have Peter, we have Nguhe, and DJ Rabaki. And today's topic, Balo.
We read an article by a lady called Jamila Akil, and she actually has a blog called Beyond Black and White, and she talks about women and education and how that women are spending too much time going to school, too much time and effort going to school, and they should actually be looking for husbands instead.
Yes.
So I know you guys read the article. What were your first thoughts about that? Okay.
Well, as a recent high school graduate who is just now enrolled in a four-year university, private university, that I'm going to in the fall, this is a very interesting article to read. I thought it was it is an extremely pessimistic view on the whole higher education system. And I think that if you desire to go to college and you're determined to go to college, it's that decision, it's making decisions. If you think that you can stick through it to the end, I think you should do it. Yes, and it's an investment, because she talks about how you just come with all these student loans, and you have a lot of debt coming out, which then she said that debt will deter you from finding a husband. It's like, yeah, but I have this 4-year degree, I learned a lot, and I gained a lot of life experience. So that article, I was really, I did not agree with it. I will go to college this fall, and my focus there isn't to be finding a husband, it's to be learning.
Right.
I think she completely ignored that some people just like to learn.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, the thing is though, when you read the article, she has an age bracket that she was talking about.
Right.
It's 30, between
It's actually
30,
late
40,
30s,
yeah, late 30s,
40s, and
40s.
50s.
And they're not married, right? And some of them are single, and so her point of view, actually, she has a valid point where she says, if you're in your 30s and 40s and 50s, there's no way you going back to college is gonna help you like go up a bracket or anything. Because if I'm gonna employ, I'm gonna pick someone who's young, who's gonna learn in the next 10 years, and they're gonna climb up the bracket. So there she has a valid point. But then when she goes on to, talk about that being the only option for the ladies in their 30s, that's when she errs, I think, in my opinion.
Okay, just to kind of say something you said. Okay, the income thing, her point is you top up at like age 38. Whatever you're making by age 38, you're not going to move to the next income bracket. So even though you go get your, I don't know where she gets her statistics from, to be honest, so I kind of question that. Now, I'm in my 30s. I'm very much pursuing higher education. And just like her, I'm not going to stop because I don't have a husband. So now, do I think that are they like mutually exclusive? I mean, what's the issue? Can I not go to school and find me a husband? That's what I'm wondering.
I really don't get where she's coming from, because Jamila Akil is actually pursuing her MBA, and she's not married either.
Yeah.
So what does that say about herself?
Yeah.
To me, that if you're writing the article, like she shouldn't have been in college, or she shouldn't.
But my question is there a prime age where people get husbands?
That's a very good.
Because if there is a prime age and you're out there in school, then I think the opportunity does pass. If that is a prime time that people look for husbands or wives. So don't you think that there's an opportunity cost over there?
But you're meeting people when you're in school.
True.
That's where a lot of people meet their life partners.
So if I don't go to school, I won't be able to get a husband, do I want?
Okay, that's not true. I didn't say that. So you said the opportunity might pass you, but the opportunity might present itself if you're in school at that prime age, if there is one.
And that's assuming that you're meeting somebody in school. And I think that that speaks to a different set of rules, because I think our social circles also influence where we find our spouses.
That's true.
And I think that, but then what happens when there's a the numbers are not the same? If let's say there's more women than men,
And they are
in college,
more women than men.
See what?
so does that put the women at a disadvantage?
I know what puts women at a disadvantage, and I can say it right now. Especially when it comes to education. The more educated, the smarter we are. We're not going to settle for just any other bloke, okay? So men get intimidated. I have been told that I'm very intimidating. Maybe that's why I'm so single. I don't know, but I, for real, I've been told this. So
Are you intimidating?
No, I think
people tell me I'm very intimidating.
But
Because
what,
you're
what,
going
makes,
through
what
because-
makes them say that?
Because
What, when you
if
examine
somebody
yourself?
says something to me, I can back it up with some facts. I can quote, I don't know, authors or
So that-
something.
it's
I don't
not on the
know,
basis
So,
of
so are you saying
education.
that if you hook up with a guy who can't quote, who doesn't
No,
have
no,
that
no, no. I'm not turned off by
education?
them. They're turned off by me. They think I'm a little bit much.
No, I
Like,
think-
So
maybe
is
I
there-
should drop out of school. I don't
No,
know.
or maybe should you maybe tone it down a little bit when you're
Probably.
meeting people and kind of put that education in, maybe off to the side, because we're talking about
Well,
marriage
why
over here
should
and
she
not
do
so
that?
much.
Why should she have to do that? I mean, she's out there learning,
I-
trying to better herself. Why does she have
Okay.
to dumb herself down a little bit just to meet?
Exactly.
what in society, what is the man viewed as? A
The
Breadwinner,
provider.
provider.
Yeah.
But then when you're more, with the top educated women, the problem is they come off as, I can do it all by myself. Nah. So what does that do to the guy's role? It's like diminished
Yeah.
right there. So then they'll feel, I guess I don't need to, to struggle to get this girl, That's, I think, the problem with the most educated women. They come off with that, I can do it better than most men because I've achieved this. And then it kind of makes the guys be like, okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But like I'm educating myself for myself, like,
Right.
and when I meet another person, I'm not gonna dumb myself down, but I'm also not educating myself to compare myself with them. I'm
True.
not gonna combat them and see who can quote more literary references or something
True.
like that.
True.
So I'm not gonna go there and try and intimidate you with my education. But if along the way you are intimidated by my education, then maybe we shouldn't be
It's
together.
sad.
Amen to that. And along those lines, I mean, back to like her article. So, are women? What I wonder is, she's saying women should stop seeking the college degrees and seek husbands. So is it that they're going to school, maybe to? I mean, are they not finding husbands, so they go to school, or are they going to school to keep themselves busy? And doing other things, maybe pursuing other
True.
angles career-wise and just getting educated as opposed to, I don't know, maybe attending, I don't know, where you meet men, Is that what she means maybe?
I think one has to find out where does marriage fit in your own lifestyle. And then you need to position yourself according to your priorities, your own individual priorities. If your priority is to get married, have a husband, start a family, there are those who will get married at a very early age, and education is maybe just not that important to them. And starting a family is. And what you find that they'll do is that they will actually go out and get married, and we've seen that maybe even in their teenage years, because that's where their priority is. So I think it's a matter of where you place marriage in your individual life.
I think society places a big banner on black women who are in their 30s because everybody knows, like, okay, if you're 30, you're black and you're single, you ain't getting married.
Yeah.
Nothing is pretty much working. So for black women to go to school, that's a positive thing. We should be shedding light on that. Go to school. That's very important. How many people drop out of school, or high school for that matter, or college?
But then you're there racking up all this loans, debt. What's the point,
You're gonna work it out.
That's what she's
The problem with the article is that the solution she provides is not like the most feasible one that you think of. And I think she did that just to get the viewers to read and then,
Right.
go on there on
Get
the
into
comments
it.
and rant. So
Yeah, I mean, I say I get educated like her. It's something I want to do. I love learning. I don't think I'm doing it necessarily either to find a husband or not to find a husband. That's
On the flip
neither
side,
here
though,
nor
okay,
there.
you go to school. You're doing a master's right now.
Yeah.
How much debt do you have? Because I know my sister, she's married. She just finished. She graduated, did her PhD. Her loans are like way up to here. When she gets married, all of that joins. Like her husband consumes her debt as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the issue also. Like maybe some men, I don't know, you can tell me.
but if this guy loves you should be able to just foresee that. That should not be a big deal. If
Maybe it's
someone
an
was really in
American
love with
thing.
you.
You know, before we get married, how
Americans
about
are
we
more
sit here and
into-
see how much debt you got?
And
then we
I've
compare.
heard of some Americans doing that.
Yeah,
Like,
I think they do.
can't marry you because of your debt, and
Yeah.
you have too much baggage.
credit is
coming.
gonna
Mess up
like-
my credit,
Yeah.
Credit
you know,
too.
like how's this gonna work out?
But then aren't we redefining marriage? Then it's all about what we can bring into
I know,
marriage.
to the table.
And I think we need to step back and say, what is a marriage all about? I think
True.
also for the men, we also need to say, hey, you know what? If my wife wants to get educated, give her every
Push her.
encouragement, and I support her along the way. Education may not be the thing for me, but that should not diminish me. I think I should step up in a way and say, look, if that's what you want to do, you're getting your master's, I should be man enough to support. And in fact, there's a recent article about, it's not all about education, because even when you go to the workplace, you find that there are a lot of stay-at-home dads these days.
Right.
And there's a role reversal. And I think once you understand what the marriage is all about, that it's really about two people coming together and helping each other out, then I think we need to step up as men also and encourage our spouses.
Yes.
And actually, an educated woman is something to brag about than a non-educated lady. I think to myself, I'll be bragging about my girl has a PhD.
Yeah.
You know, unlike she's just staying at home. You know,
Yeah.
to me, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, I think, yeah, if you're single, I just think it's kind of tough when you're single. It's tough just because you feel like, okay, so am I don't know, like I was telling him, you know, all weekend I've been in school, so maybe it's true. I wasn't really out there finding a husband, you know.
Why not
I
at
can
school,
see the
though?
practice at
Why
school
not at
because
school?
everybody who's in school is like, I don't
Is
know,
it?
older than me. And they're actually, many of them are women who I see, you know, and there's some men, but they seem to be done as far as like with the whole marriage and
having
they have
kids.
kids and they're coming back to school.
Mhm.
But what I was going to say, which she pointed out in the article, was women, and you talked about breadwinners, women actually, as far as America is concerned, seem to be holding down the house more than
Yeah,
men,
stepping up.
more than the fathers, you know? So, and I think maybe that's why women are trying to get themselves more
Better,
educated.
more
so-
educated.
And that's a good thing because better educated, like you said, you get a better job. It's not also just for money. I think for me, if and when I go back to school, it will be a choice. It's a goal that I have to meet and complete. So it's not only about money. And
Yeah.
I think she does. Did she even say anything about that? To me, it was just basically okay, loans and money.
And she did, and she focused on black women was the thing for
Yeah,
me.
that's how I
And that focus on black women. And I was just like, you know, this isn't this is white women,
everyone
Hispanic. Every
else going
woman
through.
should think about you're talking about priorities. Every woman should figure out her priorities and not to highlight put a spotlight on black women that
Well-
maybe you shouldn't.
Well,
go
she
to
said that
college.
because 43% of African American women have not yet been married, compared to 23% of Caucasians, at least here in America.
So where are they meeting their
That's
husbands?
it, right?
So we need to
We
figure
need to
out.
know. We need to know. Do you think this kind of issue transcends like back home in Africa, you know, any African country? Do you think this is an issue, perhaps? Or do you think just education altogether is something that is an issue? Do any of you know if the women back home face the same challenges?
I think back home it's like a structure, you know. 18 you're done, 19 you're in college, 20 2 3 you're done, then and half the time I think maybe I'd say 60% or 70% of the people in colleges meet their husbands and wives in colleges in Kenya, unless you don't go to like a Kenyan college,
Yeah.
which I mean you must have been playing in high school.
If you don't make it through.
I know if you don't make it through, but half like the people I went to college in Kenya, like I'm like every other day I'm on Facebook. Oh my gosh, they got married too. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
that's true.
so.
But then just to add on to what you're saying, I think the emphasis back home, I don't know about you guys, but education was like a real big thing.
Yeah,
Everybody
emphasis.
focused on education. Here you have the choice. You don't really have to go to school. You can decide to become whatever you want to.
Start
or
a
like-
Facebook page and
Exactly.
But I like that about America, where you can break these culture barriers.
Yeah.
That this is how things are supposed to be done, and you can do an unconventional thing.
Yeah.
Though education is important, but I like that about America, where you can break those cultural barriers that are said that you have to be a doctor when you're not even thinking of, because being a doctor is like it's a style of way, it's a life you're committing yourself to.
Yeah, I know in Kenya, I think most of our parents were like, oh, you're going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be the something. They always just saw these certain careers when they thought of us. What about you guys? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I agree that I value my choice here because, you know, I'm going to the school and I'm not sure, I don't have a plan right now. I don't have I'm going to meet my husband by this age, I'm going to study this, and I'm going to come out and I'm going to be in this profession. You know, I like that I have that freedom to kind of, and I'm a person who just lets things go and figure out as they go along.
But this is a millennial thing.
So-
It's an age
As
thing.
generation.
It's
Yeah.
generation. Yeah, generational. You guys are more free and optimistic about life.
Yeah.
But the rest of us had to plan a little bit more.
As a
Sure.
clock is
What do you think,
ticking.
Peter?
No, actually, she brings up a good point, because I think when you're actually going through that stage as you are right now, maybe marriage is not
No.
the focus. And it's when you get to a certain stage in your life, then you start reconsidering. And then maybe you start backtracking, wondering, what could I have done different in my own career? Because suddenly, whereas you're not thinking about getting married previously, then all of a sudden you find yourself having those thoughts. So I think it's
African
good to
family
have these conversations earlier on and see what is your overall outlook.
All right, so let's get some quick closing words. We'll start with you, Pam.
Go to school. You'll find a husband someday. I mean, it may not be in your cards, but go to school if you can. Education is important.
Lay it all to God. You'll find the perfect man for you. You don't have to keep looking. When you're looking for something, when it's lost, that's when you never find it. And then one day you just bump into it. So just don't look, you know. It'll come.
Well, I'm going to school because I like to learn. Whatever happens next, happens next.
And find a husband.
We'll see, I don't know.
What I say is, know what your priorities are.
All right.